Hey, what's up, Internet? This video shows you how to remove and install a sway bar link in your car. The car in this video is a 2004 Volvo S80. Many cars will be just like this. A disclaimer, working on cars is extremely dangerous. Please be very careful when working on cars, and be sure to assemble all parts appropriately to avoid any accidents. You'll need 1 to 2 hours to remove and install your sway bar link. You should also do this on flat ground. As for tools, you will need a jack stands, a wheel chock or wood block, a pry bar, and note that tire irons that come with cars often double as a pry bar. A socket set, a wrench set, both metric and standard are good to have, a torque wrench, a hex or Allen wrench set, possibly a Torx bit set to go with the socket set, and finally a hammer is good to have. If you don't have a service manual, I highly recommend getting a Haynes or Chilton's manual for your car. They can be purchased online or at your local auto parts store. You may also rent the tools out from AutoZone. It's free, but you have to put down a deposit just in case you don't return the tools. In the end, it costs no money. It's free. Safety glasses. Please wear safety glasses. Also, for this procedure, you will want to lift both wheels off the ground. If you do not, there will be a torsion resistance in the sway bar and thus the sway bar link. Removing the part with that pressure on it may cause it to pop off at high speed or break and send fragments flying. So please be safe. Let's get started. Removal. Using some archive footage, I will go over the first few steps. First, you want to lift your car off the ground and stabilize it with some jack stands and wheel chocks. Before you get under the car, be sure to nudge it firmly to make sure that it's sturdy and won't fall. Disconnecting the battery is also a first step that is in a lot of books I have read. However, I am not going to do that for this procedure. The chances of electric shock or fire are very minimal where I'm going to be working on the car. Moving on to more recent footage, the next step is to remove the wheel. After that, you should be able to see the sway bar link. Here's mine, bottom and top. Next, remove the nuts. I started with the bottom nut here, but I had a problem, so you also may encounter this. It kept spinning freely and didn't come apart, so I will get to that in a moment. Here I am taking off the top nut with no issues whatsoever. Okay, so the bottom nut needed a combination of Torx bit and wrench to get it to come apart. You can see that here. Volvo seem to like Torx heads. However, it's normal to see an Allen head and sometimes a really small like hex end for a socket to fit on for this part as well. Once the nuts are off, you can remove the part. This side gave me no problems. However, you can see that the other side I needed a pry bar to hold off some of the tension that the sway bar had. This was due to the sway bar having bushings that are like physically attached to it. Some call it like vulcanized. I don't know if that's right. That caused the sway bar to want to go back to its original factory position. It in turn put pressure on the sway bar link. So the pry bar worked its magic. Installation is similar to removal. A pry bar will be needed to augment any torsion in the sway bar bushings. Be sure to install the proper ends to their respective ends. For example, the hole on top was larger than the bottom one. You want to put the nuts on after putting the part in, and I tightened mine with just a socket wrench, and that worked fine for me. If you're worried about your part, however, you may use an Allen or Torx and wrench combination so that you don't twist the new part. I've replaced these before and have not had a problem tightening them the way I show in this video, but just be advised that that is the other way. Regarding the tightness of the nuts, you may consult your service manual, or you may be able to find the torque specifications online. Mine was 59 foot-pounds, so here I am doing that by hand here, and that was roughly 60 foot-pounds right there. You can hear what that sounds like. You may also elect to use a torque wrench. After that, you're done with the sway bar link itself. Here you can see me do the other side real quick. I had no issues on this side. You can see I use a pry bar to relieve the tension and also a socket to tighten the nuts. After you have verified that the nuts are tight, you may proceed to the next steps, which are to install the wheel and to make sure that once the car is on the ground, you properly tighten the lug nuts. This is where a torque wrench is very handy. So that's how you remove and install a sway bar link. Once again, please be careful working on cars. Always think safety. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, there's a button for that. If you want to see more videos like it, there's a button for that. And if you're bored, please feel free to cruise around the channel and check out my other videos. Well, I hope that helped. See you later, Internet.